Bartlett are both here tonight to have this discussion and to come to an agreement. This is from... Something inappropriate.
Second one around the top.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alright, so.
Recording in progress. So anyways, we invited John Pierce and Sky Bartlett here tonight. This is per our town attorney's guidance as well. So this started before I came here. So apparently in October of 23, there was discussions between the former town administrator and the CBP about removing people from the tax roll. There ended up going back and forth about the process with that. Ended up being letters were sent out. I think 11 people in total sent responses back that they wanted to be removed from the tax roll. It went forward to the board for the board approval with those 11 names. It then needed to go to CBP for a meeting where the residents under the CBP have to approve those names. There was a miscommunication about how that was done, and in March of that year, they held their meeting, but 86 more names were added. One was removed from the 11 that had been approved for a total of 96 names. It was sent to us to be removed. The assessors removed all 96 names. A question came before me from the person who had been removed from the original 11. I asked the town attorney, who said, no, you can't take all those names out because those other 86 people weren't brought before the Board of Selectmen for approval either. So we had to have it sent back. We had to have the Board of Selectmen reapprove those 86 names. We had to have the people put back on the tax roll. Then CBP had to hold another meeting, which I believe they held in July. I think you guys held it in July of last year. They held their meeting to approve the rest of those names. It got sent to me in August. I sent that to the assessors, and the assessors told me that they removed all those people out of the system. They felt that they should be removed because it started in April and had been approved originally. Unfortunately, when the bills got sent out in December, January, one person from the original 11 came to me and stated, I wasn't taken off the tax roll. After looking into it, 8 people were not removed from the tax roll out of those 96 people. There then was a disagreement between the assessors, the tax collector's office, about the assessors felt that all the people should have been removed and just removed them. The tax collector's office felt that everybody should be put back on. The lawyer looked at it and looked at timing and statute, and he felt that everything should stay the same. You can't remove or add anybody on now after the fact, and that those 8 people should be removed now, that way they don't get a spring bill, and that should be it. But he stated that both the CBP and the Board of Selectmen have to approve that agreement, that is what will happen. If that isn't what happens, that means we have to send out supplementary tax bills to either 88 people, or we send out supplementary tax bills to 8 people, or if we do it this way, nobody gets a supplementary tax bill, and then those 8 people will come off the tax roll at the spring billing. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. It's really convoluted. You have no idea how much time I spent.
It's amazing you got that all down. So, for the Campton Village precinct, what is your thought? You know, you have a say to which way we go, and it's recommended that we wait until April, which is next month, and move forward.
Whatever's easiest.
That's the easiest one. So is that what Campton Village precinct recommends?
Yes, that's our preference.
Okay, great, thank you. And we as a board have to vote on that as well?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I need a motion to go with April.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Right, so those other 8 people, John and Sky, will be taken off, and they will not get a spring tax bill with that rate on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you and I will email you that name as well.
Good. Thank you for coming and taking care of that.
Thank you for
for your
A
efforts on this.
complicated situation is easy. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it for CVP. So, we have reports from all the departments. Kate, would you wanna just hit the highlights of yours, please?
Yep, one moment, please. Okay, so, one of the things I wanna talk about was, trainings. There is a cybersecurity training being held here for staff and board members on Thursday, March 27th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This is with the State of New Hampshire Cybersecurity Unit. They are giving these out as free trainings to everyone throughout the state due to municipalities and school districts getting hit so hard by cyber attacks. I think you saw the Pelham School District got attacked this past weekend, and other Enfield got attacked a few months back as well. So I think it's really imperative that we look at this and make sure we're trained on it and that all of our staff is trained on it, because it's not just the people that are full-time here every day. Part-timers who might have an email they get on, and if you look at something on your personal email and then send something to people here in the town, that can also hurt us as well. The ways that they are finding to weasel their way in. So just last week, just want you to know, a company, a vendor that we use outside of here was hacked. They didn't know it. They were able to literally mimic their email and their logos and everything, sent it to us. One of our employees went to go into it because they were like, oh, they had actually called them and asked them about something with invoicing, so they were like, oh, okay. They went to go into it and it kept saying, oh, you need to reset all this. So they called Lakes Region Computers, who immediately went, wait, something's wrong here, and they shut everything down and they found out there's a problem. So they called the vendor and the vendor went, oh no, and they started sending something out to all their customers saying, don't open this, because it was from the right person and everything, that person had been hacked. So if we had done that, they would have copied, what they were trying to do was copy our person's email so that they could then send information out and get banking information. So it's one of those things where we are stopping these things, but it's really good for all of us to understand how this affects us. And they say we cannot use personal emails, like we have to make sure that you don't forward things on to those type of pieces. So I really think it'd be beneficial if everybody came. Another training that it will be coming up that I highly recommend our newly elected select board members and those who have been appointed go to is NHMA board member training, which is in May. I will be sending out that information because they'll be sending out the training session soon. But that is also really good because things change from year to year, let alone every 3 years. So I highly recommend you go as well. It's a plethora of information and they teach you all sorts of wonderful things. Sometimes you pick up something once and you don't remember it and then go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So it's really good as well. Another piece I want to talk about was right to know requests. So we have been getting hit really hard with right to know requests over the last 6 months. From a variety of sources. Some are from other places in the state. I mean, I have someone the other day that sent me a right to know request on every communication we've been having with Eversource since 2023 and all the stuff that Eversource is doing coming through our town. And we're not the only town that's getting it. So that's a lot of information that they're requiring and requesting from us. So I don't want to have to bring an attorney every single time for some of this because some of it needs to be redacted, some of it is just a huge amount of information. So I just want to put it out there that I'm really thinking it might be in our best interest to look like a part-time ombudsman, somebody who takes the right to know requests, looks and does the research. Some people are asking for things that are from 10 years ago. And they're like, I want stuff with this far back, or I want something before my time that I'm trying to find in a box somewhere, or trying to find through electronic means that takes hours for me to find. And I know I have other people and residents calling me for things too. So I think it would be highly beneficial to do so, because we're getting a lot of right to know requests, and with changes in that as well that may be coming down the line, I think it's something the board should really think about.
Other towns are doing ombudsman too, right?
Yes, other towns are also doing it just because they are getting so many requests. I mean, if the changes go through, if we have a vendor, for instance, that wants, and I had this the other day and I could say to them no, but they wanted 5 years worth of building permits of everything that's gone through and the vendors they were using, and like, you don't understand, like it was 16 different items that they wanted on all our building permits and everything else. Now, right now, we can say no, but if they literally open it up to all citizens, it means it doesn't matter if it's New Hampshire residents or not, or if it's a person, or if it's a business. And a lot of businesses request information from us under right to know, because they wanna use it as a way to advertise. So all these people that are putting the building permits will then get an advertising gimmick from this company and that company and every other company that decides to come to Campton and ask for that information. So it's an inappropriate use, I think, but that's just my opinion.
Anything else? No. That's it. Any questions for the town administrator? No? Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to nominations for the board for the upcoming year for board chair and vice chair. And then we'll discuss board committees and ex officio nominations of other committees as well, and boards. So I would, if there's a discussion you'd like to have, or someone wants to make a nomination for chair of the board for the upcoming year.
I would like to nominate Sharon as chair to the board.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that?
Can you repeat that? I did not understand the word what you said.
I said I would like to nominate Sharon Davis as chair of our board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I seconded.
No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Vice chair, do I have a nomination for vice chair? I would nominate Craig for the upcoming year's vice chair.
I second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. So board committees. We have the roads committee, we have the Park and Recreation Committee, and the policy committee. Roads committee.
I'd like to nominate Craig to be on the road committee.
Second.
Do I have any discussion?
Are we gonna have two on
Yep, we'll have two on there.
there? I wouldn't mind continuing also.
Okay, we'll vote on this one first,
Okay.
okay? All those in favor of Craig on the road committee? No, Craig.
Craig. Oh, you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Be on
I
the
wrote it down right, my bad.
You're just testing me.
Yeah, I am.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. And, I need another nomination for this committee, cause there are two.
I'd like to nominate Mort Donahue.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I know Carl would be interested to continue,
Right.
We can only have two.
but we only have two. So we'll take a vote, this is no conversation, all those in favor?
Aye.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. Aye. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I could vote for myself.
Aye.
You're voting for, yeah, and I'll say aye for this year.
Nay.
I'm sure you'll say nay, yeah, but I really thank you for all you're doing, and I know you'll still be here with us, right? Park and Rec, I've served on this many years, and I would like to continue on that, if someone would mind nominating me.
I would love to
nominate you for
Yeah.
that. I nominate Sharon for Park and Rec
I'll
committee.
second that.
Any others? Comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 So we do have two on this as well. Is there anyone else interested in serving in Park and Rec for the upcoming year?
I'll stay on it if no one else wants to stay on. I've not been on it, but if someone else wants to do it, that's fine as well.
Okay. Okay, so I nominate Mort.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 policy committee. This is to review the number of policies that we have, that we need to do once annually. The investment policy is the most important one because that's required by law. And that also involves the trustee of trust funds. So usually we have two. Dan Boynton and I did it for a while. We did not have a policy committee last year.
Well, no, you and I met.
You and I met.
You and I
right,
met, and I
right.
actually have done quite a bit with policy, and just we haven't had time.
Right, but this,
I just need to bring it to you guys.
this just helps push it, it will help you push it along. So I'd be interested, since that was part of my life for so many years in compliance and banking, could serve on the policy committee again.
I'll work with you on it if you want.
Okay, we'll just do one at a time.
I'd like to nominate you.
Okay,
Eric.
thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 So how it worked before, Craig, was I would review it, with Kate and then send it off to Dan. And he'd review it and make any suggestions and then send it back, and then we put it in the board packet.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Happy to do it unless somebody else wants to do it.
anyone else want to do that?
I'd like to nominate Craig.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 We will have some ad hoc committees with the town of Thornton and Ellsworth, but we will address those as the ad hoc needs come up. So we do need, officio assignments for CIP and planning and conservation. Carl, you've been on CIP.
Yes.
Would like to continue that?
Yes, I would.
Okay,
I nominate Carl for the ex officio of the CIP committee.
Second.
all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you.
So Cheryl, I know you've been serving on the planning, board. Would you be interested in continuing as the board
Delighted.
representative? Okay. Is anyone else interested in planning board official? No? I need nominations.
I nominate Cheryl for ex officio of the planning board.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So, Dan served on the conservation as ex officio. Of course, Dan's not here, so we now need a new representative. I know, Cheryl, you've served on conservation, but I don't know if you, I don't know how full you want your plate.
Oh, one more piece of pie. I'd be happy to serve on the,
Would
I
anyone-
generally go on the
on the
conservation.
excursions and
Yes.
stuff. Is there anyone else would be interested in serving in conservation?
I'm told late.
Okay, so I nominate Cheryl to serve as ex officio on conservation committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And I think that completes it, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, we have the community power that you said.
Yeah, good.
Could you all speak up? It's really difficult to hear your voices, thank you.
Okay, sorry. We're just trying
You
to.
did a good job just before this.
Okay. So I want to discuss the time of our meetings, and I would like to suggest that we move our meetings to 5:30 instead of 4:30, and that we, have our non-public sessions at 4:30, in time to get out for our regular business meeting at 5:30, and see how that goes, and we'll monitor attendance, and if it increases, fine, we'll just keep it at 5:30, and we'll go forward. So,
I'll second that motion.
5:30, beginning, that would beginning at our next meeting,
Yep. Okay.
okay? You all set with that,
Yep,
Charles?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
so 5:30 it is.
Thank you.
So, on to privilege of the floor. Is there any privilege on the floor, which would be for any of the agenda items, and there was agendas on the table when you came in? Okay.
Ted Bonister, 226 Beaverbrook Road. Just a question about the process about using the room. I had sent Kate an email about 5 weeks ago, actually today, 5 weeks ago,
Okay.
asking about that process. I think it's on the agenda, that's why I
Yeah,
asked.
right.
It was 3
We're-
weeks ago. You
Yeah.
sent it to me on 2/24.
Yeah.
3 weeks
So-
ago? Okay,
Yeah.
well, 3 weeks, 5 weeks?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly, it doesn't matter, it took too
So we're
long.
going to
Way too long.
review a community room policy for use of it going forward, as
Awesome.
recommended by our council,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
So the consent agenda, we have minutes of the meeting for March 3, 2025, non-public session of March 3, 2025, and non-public on March 11. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second?
Or is there any other comment on any of the minutes that should be noted? None? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Abstain.
That's right. Aye. Good point, Cheryl. Okay. So we have, some committee applicants for various committees. We didn't get a lot of response, but we went through the same thing last year. It takes a few weeks for people to respond to our requests. So, but we do have several. Stuart Pitts, is interested in continuing on the planning board. And so same with Cynthia Baskak.
That's Jack.
Baskak, I'm sorry.
It's not
It's the first time I tried to pronounce it, Baskak. Are there any other, does that fill the slots that we need? No, we have one other one, but we haven't heard from her. So I'd like to, have a nomination for these two to continue.
So move.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Stuart here?
Yeah.
There he is. So, thanks Stuart for continuing. I know it's been a lot of years, right? How many?
We have to get sworn in again, right?
You do. You do. Well, we'll have to type up the appointments and get them to the town clerk's office. Give us a few days for that, okay?
There is a planning board meeting, I think it's tomorrow night.
Yes, it is.
So can they still participate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Zoning board, we have Alicia, Williams. Is she here tonight, Alicia? No?
He said she might not be able to do it.
Okay, she served as vice chair. Could I have a, motion to approve Ms. Williams for,
So move.
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have one other,
That is LSCCD.
Yeah.
Before you move forward with LSCCD, I believe Carol Lennigan is here to speak on that, correct, Carol? They have a question or, a comment about the LSCCD committee before you move forward.
okay, Carol?
Just confused it. Yeah, of course, Amy's wrong,
Ron Goggins moved
to
on.
say the least. Right now I'm vice chair, and I am not interested in being chair. And, I'm not speaking for Debbie and, Mary and Kelly, but they've all pretty much said the same thing, they don't want to be chair. And frankly, we have, for whatever reasons, either participation or weather, so haven't had very many meetings, we've had like 3. And, right now, we are interested in disbanding. Because, for many reasons, but not only the lack of participation, but just what's coming down from the federal government or what isn't coming down. We just think at the time, right now, it's just not the time to do it. And the town has so many other things certainly more concerning than sidewalks and, you know, with the road situation and everything. There's so many organizations in the country that are losing grant money, for whatever reason, it's frozen. And we're just thinking this is not the right time to pursue this. It's gonna amount to a lot of work, we realize that. And we're just thinking that for the amount of work we put into it and then have it all, you know, I mean, we're only less than 2 months into this administration, and already that much is cut, you know, so there's another 3 or 4 years going, so, and to be honest, going forward after that, to reestablish all this stuff that's been lost too. We all feel that it's just not the time to pursue this. I was very enthusiastic after the charrette, and really wanted to go for it and everything, but yeah, I kinda lost my momentum, and
Yeah.
so has everybody else. We really
Right,
have, we're
right.
just kinda like,
Yeah,
so right now, you know, and it's up to you, but,
yep, thank you, Carol, for bringing that forward.
okay.
So, is the board interested in suspending that committee for the immediate future, and we will revisit it when the time is appropriate down the road?
Makes sense.
Okay,
We need a motion for that?
Please.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Can we have a little more discussion?
Okay.
sure,
This has to do with the sidewalks.
yep,
Should we spin that off separately, or, cause that was something we kind of,
yeah, we'll spin that off, and we
Yeah.
could rename the committee when the time comes back. Because what she's saying, that there's not gonna be any funding available,
right,
so we're spinning our wheels.
even with the sidewalks, so we were looking for grants for that?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
so
I make the motion.
to suspend that
To
committee.
suspend.
Yeah, second, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you, and
Thank
thanks
you.
to all the members of the
Yeah,
committee
thank you.
for the time you spent and bringing that forward, because, you know, we don't wanna waste any time and
Yeah.
have already for grants that are not gonna be granted. Yeah, it's
Sorry.
sad.
Too
Thank you,
bad.
Carol and Mary, very much.
So the rest of the committees, the people who did not respond, do you want us to contact those people and see if they are still interested directly, like by phone, because they didn't respond to the letter?
Yeah, could you do that? Could you have Michelle do that? And also repost it, giving it until our next meeting to see if we can build
For
something.
how, for the terms that they are, like a 2-year term. so-
Right, so, hopefully we can fill some of these vacancies that we have. Okay, everyone? Okay, let's move on to the community room policy.
Well, conservation.
Oh, did I skip something?
Yes.
Did anybody from conservation, on their committee,
Oh.
their committee, did their conservation committee, anybody respond to that one?
No.
I just got your letter today, I'm sorry, but I would like to ask the board to reassign me for another term. We have a number of projects that I'd like to see come to fruition on the invasive side. And also, we've lost some people on our board, and we have a lot of new people, so I certainly would like to help mentor them.
Could you state your name for the record?
I'm sorry, Bill Copeland.
Okay.
Excuse me.
And I echo everything that Bill just said.
Is Janet?
I'd like to continue on.
Okay, you both, yeah, because we hadn't received anything from either one of you,
Okay.
so thanks for speaking up. So, do I have a motion to nominate Janet Lucas and Bill Copeland?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Do those people we have to?
that's right. Okay, so we'll approach the others in our next meeting. Let's go on to community room policy. And Kate, you wanna talk about working with our town council recommendations?
Yes, we already have a community room policy, but he stated that it was not, compliable. So he recommended that we do this community room policy instead, which was brought forth and reviewed with him. And pretty much, it's pretty much the same policy that we had before, with just a little bit taken out, and I think he added in, I'm trying to get to the right place, I'm not in the right place on here. Hold on. I'm looking at dumpsters instead of looking at the policy, sorry. He just laid it out better as well, he formatted it a lot better than the old one was. And he states in the bottom, this policy supersedes or replaces the community room use policies previously adopted, and the board of selectmen or the town administrator as its designee shall ensure the proper execution of this policy. We laid that out as well. Is there any, and everything else is pretty much the same.
Are there any questions from the board, any comments? I just had a read before we got here. Anything, Carl?
No.
And it does talk about the damages as we had spoken about, which was already in the last one, but he just worded it a little differently about if somebody left the room in bad condition or something.
Then I need a motion to approve the policy as presented.
I make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
The signature page needs, there was
Oh,
one
that's right.
that I have missed updated.
Yeah, the signature page needs to be updated.
Okay. All I have is PDF, so I'm gonna pass that
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
they were supposed to send it, but they weren't done.
Okay, so dumpster. We need to have more frequent,
Or, it was discussed as to whether or not you wanted to do that. I'm not saying that if we need or not, it's more was, we discussed this like a month or so ago, that the dumpster wasn't being, emptied as often. There was a lot of discussion about whether recyclables were actually going to recyclables, whether they're going into the regular dumpster piece, vice versa. But we were able to get a hold of them. They only do pickups every 2 or 4 weeks, so it's either bi-weekly or once a month. And we are currently on the 1 a month piece, which might explain why we're getting a little more in our dumpster though, because once a month does seem like a lot, or a little bit in terms of picking up trash. But it changed to every 2 weeks for the trash dumpster only. It's not the recyclables. It would be an additional $264 on our monthly bill, which doesn't seem like a ton of money to me overall. But that does not include recyclables, but I think we'd be okay with recyclables as we are right now. But this is entirely up to you, just because there have been some complaints from a couple of employees that they felt that our dumpster, was full. And they had to really push. I think there's certain times of year that is worse than others, to be honest with you.
That was my next
And that's when
question.
it becomes a problem, so I'll let you folks decide.
so
You
this
let the
is,
bears in it.
this is with waste management. And they also said that they would, replace one of our dumpsters, which needs to be replaced for nothing.
Yeah,
right?
you place them for free. Yep.
Yeah, which needs to be done. So what are your thoughts? What would,
Well, I mean, if it's something that we need, it's obviously something that we need. I guess, so on the recyclable side, what are we throwing in the recyclable side? Is that this?
Paper,
The
cardboard,
waste
stuff like
management,
that.
yeah, cause waste management still is single stream, right? So basically, the recycling is just paper and cardboard, basically. Is
Yeah,
that
it's
how
the
it works?
meat, it's the meat, and like certain types of plastic, not all plastic.
Okay.
How difficult is it to ascertain those times of the year that we're having real trouble with it?
I think at certain times of the year with certain departments, depending on when they're doing certain co-ops or cleanups. I don't know.
And if we were to change the status, does it have to be for the entire year or
Yes.
can
Yeah.
It would have to be a month.
have to be annual.
And it seems that if there's an issue with it, then we ought to do it.
Yeah.
And obviously there is.
So do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the bi-monthly proposal for
Waste management. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I ask a question on that?
No.
Or
No.
later?
Later.
Okay.
Okay. Discussion, health officer water sample?
Yeah, so there's nothing in here about it because our health officer was, Chief DeFasse. As you all know, he stepped down as the health officer. We need a health officer. I don't know, you folks didn't tell me to post it or put it out, or what you wanted to do. I know you had hoped that maybe he would change his mind, he said no again. But we have a water sample due this month, and I need someone to go do that. So I'd like you to give me some guidance on what the next steps would be as a part-time health officer at this moment, or at least an interim, until you figure out what you like, how you would like to work that.
Where does the sample take place?
It's well water.
Well,
Just
It's just
well-
here for us.
Just here,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So we need to post the position. So let's post the position ASAP and see what we get for results.
Okay.
See, hopefully by our next meeting, maybe we'll have some feedback.
Okay, what would you like to do about the water?
The water sample, I think one of us can take care of that. It's pretty easy. I'll put it on my list of things to do. Okay? We're all set there. Septic, White Mountain maintenance.
So, as you know, we had a septic issue. This is just up for discussion, I'm not asking to vote on anything tonight. I just wanted you to look at costs and look at, and think about the idea, and then at the April 7th meeting, I'll bring forth as something maybe we want to move forward with. So, as you know, we were having some backup issues here, and we ended up calling Rouse, who we have been calling if there has been issues with septic in the past and so forth. And they found out that we actually hadn't had our septic cleaned out in 6 years, and it was over full a little bit. And so we have one here, we have one, this one takes care of these 3 buildings, we have one at the highway department, and one at the substation. So we do need to have them cleaned and regularly checked. And what we've just been doing is sort of like, what I can tell from what I'm seeing in paperwork, kind of just hit or miss, like, oh, we forgot to do that, and let's do this. So, White Mountain Maintenance asked who we have for septic. They came here, and they do it for 28 cents per gallon versus Rowell's 32 cents per gallon. It would shave off about $500 compared to what we had spent when we had Rowell's do it. And they were looking at it being interested in maybe doing a contract where they would do every 2 years and clean out each one. Again, it wouldn't be a large contract because we don't have like a huge amount of septic tanks and everything like that. I think it would end up costing us, with his 28 cents a gallon, it was like $1,000 per tank or something like that. But it's just something to think about, instead of just calling. I just like the idea of having it planned out, so we know that somebody's actually coming and taking care of it rather than just on the fly.
Sounds like a good plan. So, I think it was on election day, we had a question come forward about allowing temporary signs, and our sign ordinance doesn't address temporary signs.
Can you explain what temporary signs are?
Would be, so, say a landscaping place down the street wants to put out a sign for 3 months, we're hiring. They want to be able to have a permit process so that they can put that sign out by their building to advertise that they are hiring. And our ordinance only has permit signs. So this would have to go to the planning board, I believe, for an amendment there. And was there anything else that we wanted to talk about? It just rose as an issue, and it's rising in the town. And so I had it put on the agenda.
Well, there have been issues in the past, people coming into the planning board relative to the sandwich boards and the banners.
Right.
in
Or
the
the parking of vehicles to advertise
Nice.
services. things
So,
like that.
and a lot of the difficulty facing the planning board has to do with the fact that who is going to be responsible for making sure people are in compliance. So I think that we are certainly, with advertising for that position, hoping that that helps the situation. And there has been discussion in the planning board, to address the sign ordinance as well.
So would you like me to talk to the planning and zoning coordinator to have that on the next planning board agenda
Yeah.
as a discussion?
Yeah, okay. Okay, planning board?
Yep.
There
Any
is-
comments? Any?
No.
There is one thing I forgot, to talk about under committees, committees and terms, if that's at all possible.
Talk about what?
Under, when we were talking about committees and terms, there was something I forgot to mention that I'd like to mention, is that possible?
Sure.
I just wanted to note that any committees that we have, while they are volunteer, there are laws and regulations that we have to follow on those committees. So anybody on them, we need to have agendas, we can do your postings, make sure that we have them so that we can keep them on file, that we can post them. The same thing with your minutes. Minutes are due within 5 days of the meeting, it's just like the Board of Selectmen meeting. We have to have minutes, we need to be able to post them. And if you are a chair, or a vice chair that ends up having to do chair work or anything like that, because somebody's out sick, when it comes to, there's certain things that the chairs are required to do and need to be a part of, including writing reports and things like that for the annual report and things. And I just wanna make sure that people understand that role as being part of a volunteer in a committee, because while you may be a volunteer, there's still stuff that we're required to have from you. So I wanna make sure that anybody who gets on a committee, understands what that role is, and you will be getting, the volunteer handbook all over again from us that tells you what those stipulations are. I just wanna make that clear because, we have had some issues where we haven't been able to get certain information, for that reason. And it's a little, frustrating for Michelle and I, so.
Especially when you're trying to get the report done on time.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So I need a motion to go in non-public under RSA C, E, and what was the other one?
B, C, and E.
B, C. and
Before we do that, and maybe I missed it, but did we talk about mowing services? It's on the agenda, but.
No, we took that off the
We took that
agenda.
off
Oh, I
and
missed that.
reposted a
Okay.
new agenda.
That's gonna be for another day,
Thank you.
okay? So I need a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32 C, B, C, and D.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, yeah.